Hey guys, so welcome to my live session of the couch, episode 10. I can't believe it's been that long, that's crazy. Let me see if I can invite Sarah on to this and I'll just introduce a little bit about what's going on. All right. So for those of you who have been on my latest episodes, all right, let's add Sarah, approve. My live episodes. Thank you so much for joining in. It's been so amazing. Oh, awesome. We've been able to connect.
Hello.
Hey,
So sorry about that. I
just
don't know what happened.
You're fine. Don't worry. I'll just finish the introduction. So for those of you who've never been on live on my couch, this is episode 10. It's been going every single week for 10 weeks. And I'm just not running out of anyone to interview. It's super exciting. And it's always about health, wellness, mindset, extra income, wealth creation, that kind of thing. And it's all through the vehicle of network marketing, which I'm super grateful to have landed in completely accidentally 5 years ago now. For me, it was all about health. I was so frustrated, professional yo-yo dieter. And, you know, at the time I was training hard, I was eating clean, I was doing everything right. Our wedding was coming up in Bali, so I had to look the part. And what I found was something that was giving me results like never before, and I was feeling better than never before. I knew there was something fundamentally different about this. I had more energy, I was waking up early, I was bouncing out of bed. I'm like, there's something different. So at the time, I knew there was a business attached to it. I didn't want a bar of it at all. I was busy and a little skeptical. But what I realized, I guess, was I loved my job. I was a graphic designer, but what I didn't love was only having 4 weeks off a year, and I didn't love having a capped income. I wanted to be able to work from anywhere. It didn't seem logical to me to be geographically bound in today's day and age. And yeah, so I looked into it, and when I realized that not only could I be the healthiest I've ever been, I could help other people be the healthiest they've ever been. I could earn an uncapped residual income from anywhere in the world and help other people do the same. I was like, oh, why didn't they teach us this at school? So, you know, I ran within 9 months. I hit a 6-figure income. Husband was supportive, but actively disinterested. He had his own successful business and was doing really well, but he sold that after 1.5 years and he joined me in this. So we get to work together every day. We've been super lucky to have been able to travel and work overseas for long stints at a time. And now that we've got baby Ivy, she's 14 weeks old now, we both get to be home and, you know, be full-time parents and be a full-time family. And that's what I love so much more than anything about this. So I'm really excited for tonight. I've got my good friend Sarah. You can see her sitting there patiently. Sarah is a beautiful mum of 2 and wife. And she's here in Melbourne with me, but won't be for long and hasn't always been so, but she'll share a little bit about that and why she's here. But I love that she not only did she create a 6-figure income working from home and completely change their family's, lifestyle, but they're about to, 26 days off leaving?
Yeah, I think so. 26 or 27 days to go.
Until they they take off for an absolute trip of a lifetime around Australia. It's just amazing what she's been able to do. And yes, full-time family, but amazing the experience that she's going to be able to give her 2 girls. So Sarah, welcome.
Thank you so much, Dee. So sorry about before. I'm not sure what happened, guys, but we're here now, so it's all good.
All good. No, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I guess, you know, this all did start very accidentally for you. Tell me a bit about what life was like beforehand, just from a health perspective and maybe lifestyle as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I talk about my journey, I always take it right back to 2011. I feel that's where it all sort of started. I had a really healthy daughter, Matilda, who at the time was 3 years old. And then we gave birth to our second daughter, Willow. And some of you may know that Willow was born with congenital heart disease. So we nearly lost her at 6 weeks old. So for us, our life was pretty much completely turned upside down. It was an extremely challenging and hard time for us. And at that time, you know, I fell into some really unhealthy eating and drinking habits. I lost all motivation for myself. And, you know, I was trying to be the best mum, the best wife, and the best friend that I could possibly be. But my health, physically and mentally, was really on a fast downward spiral. So for the next 2.5 years, we were sort of in and out of hospital with little Willow. And yeah, that just continued. My health deteriorated. And, you know, I really couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. Lifestyle wise, financially, we were in a really tough situation as well. I didn't have, you know, the luxury of being able to stay at home with Willow when she was sick. I still had to go back to work, and I was very grateful and blessed because I had an amazing family daycare lady, so I could take her to her home rather than a daycare centre. But in saying that, I still had to take her to somebody else for them to look after her when she was really quite sick. So, you know, both my husband and I had to be at work. We had to work. He was an electrician and I was a wedding planner. So for me, my work was mainly weekends and public holidays and late nights, and his was Monday to Friday as an electrician. So for us as a family, you know, there was no quality family time. It was just basically in the pockets of our time where we could spend, you know, quality time together. So in 2012 or 13, I think it was, I really did want to make a change to my health. And I wanted to give back to my daughter's charity, which was Heart Kids. And silly me decided to start training for a triathlon. So that's something I'd never done before, but you know, I really wanted to make a difference and make a change to myself. And you know, I trained for that triathlon for about 12 months, you know, leading up to it, and you know, nothing much had changed. So I was still, you know, relying on coffee. I was still drinking a lot of alcohol. I didn't know how to fuel myself correctly. And, you know, my recovery was really poor. So yeah, nothing much had changed. And I think in that time as well, I tried a number of other diets out there, which were quick fixes. And although at the time, yeah, okay, they had some results initially, but for me, they weren't long-term lifestyle programs that, you know, I could stick to. So yeah, nothing much had changed. And then that kind of brings me to, you know, 2014 when nutritional cleansing was introduced to me by a really good friend of mine up in Queensland.
Yeah, amazing. I was a professional yo-yo dieter too. It's just so frustrating, right?
I think I'm a life member of Jenny Craig, and you know, I remember doing so many other things with my husband, and yeah, nothing really stuck.
I'm Lifetime Weight Watchers. We've been there. We've been waving the flag for a long time.
Yeah.
That's too crazy. So, all right. So 3.5 years ago, you were introduced to isogenics, and you lost 10 kilos, wasn't it, with the program?
Sorry, it cut out. I think you probably said 10 kilos.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I lost 10 kilos. You know, felt absolutely phenomenal. In my first 30 days, I lost around 5 kilos, 56 centimeters from my whole body, and 10 centimeters from my waist, which, you know, as a mum of two, you know, lots of mums out there can relate that it's really hard to get rid of that tummy with just sometimes healthy eating and exercising. You just kind of keep hitting that brick wall as to why, you know, your tummy's not going. And, you know, this is the one thing that actually worked for me.
Yeah. And I imagine, you know, with the challenge, and thank you for sharing the challenges that you've had, because I didn't know if you wanted to go there with your daughter and share that, but that would have been a really challenging time in terms of, like, you definitely would have been putting yourself last during that. So when you were introduced to the system, like, 5 kilos in the first 30 days is epic.
Yeah.
Epic. And all those centimeters. But what was it for you? You know, that transformation alone is absolutely incredible. What made you say, what actually made you say, give me the box, order it for me?
I had moved from Queensland to Melbourne. Basically, going back to our lifestyle, we were living above our means. So, you know, we were so far in debt. We were so far in debt that, you know, we had to make a change to our lifestyle, and an opportunity was presented to my husband to come to Melbourne to start a new job. So we sold everything in Queensland, you know, left all of my family and friends in Queensland to come to Melbourne. So I gave up my job as a wedding planner, which, you know, I love, but obviously not a great career when you do want to have that quality family time. But yeah, I had to give that up, and, you know, we made that move to Melbourne. And one day I was sitting on the couch. I had Willow at home with me. Matilda had started a new school, and my husband was working. Now, his job ended up being a lot of travel. So he could be away for, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time. So I was sitting on the couch one day and I was wondering where my life was going. I'm only short. I was pushing a size 14, living off that coffee, and yeah, just really wondering where my life was going. So I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw my friend Robbie Pollock's photos, and she was looking amazing. She was glowing, her hair was growing, which is something she hadn't been able to do. Her hair was growing. She was losing weight, and yeah, she said she just felt amazing. So I reached out to her and said, look, babe, what is it that you're doing? Because I really do need to make a change and I really want to give this a go. And that's when she introduced me, and pretty much started 2 weeks later.
Yeah, awesome. So you lost the weight. How did you start feeling once you started on the program?
So within, you know, 3 weeks, my energy levels just went absolutely through the roof. Before that, I didn't have any motivation to do any form of exercise, but I started running again. I joined a gym. I started to focus. Like, I got this mental clarity that I hadn't had for such a long time. And, you know, I could focus again, think clearer. I became a much more calmer, patient mum and wife. And yeah, I just couldn't believe how it had just completely taken over my body and just made me feel absolutely amazing. Like, I was happy. Like, I got my spark back, and, you know, I hadn't felt that for such a long time.
Oh, I love that, Sarah, because it would have been so challenging in the lead up, plus the move, and then you're like in this spot where it's like, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Go Jenny Craig and whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm the same. Like, tried everything, but nothing that was long term sustainable. And you know, you're 3.5 years in, I'm 5 years in. Like, it's amazing, and especially now that I've had Ivy, like. I don't even know what I would eat if I didn't have this. Everything's one-handed these days.
I wish I had it when I was pregnant and going through all of that after having kids. Oh, would have made life so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. So where along the transformation was it when you realized that there was so much more to weight loss around this? Like, that there was an opportunity behind it? At what point did that happen, and how?
Yeah. Well, I think Robbie always says to me that you never wanted anything to do with the business, Sarah. You only wanted to do the products. So I think, yeah, initially it was all just using the system and feeling the amazing results. But that's kind of where it starts. It's like, you feel these amazing results and you can't help but tell people about it, obviously. And organically, people are going to start noticing. So for me, having such a great transformation, I was quite active on my Facebook about that, you know, telling people how much weight I'd lost and how great I was feeling. So yeah, people were coming to me and asking me what I was doing, and that led to my products actually being paid for. And, you know, at that point, I was still very heavily in debt. So that was priceless to me, because I could stay on the program. I could continue to look after my physical and mental health, be a good mum, be a good wife, and continue this program and feel the best I ever had. So products were being paid for, but at the same time, I started to chip away at my debt. And that's something that was just, you know, weighing so heavy on our shoulders, living with my in-laws because we couldn't afford to, you know, move out to our own place when we first moved to Melbourne. So chipping away at our debt little by little. And, you know, then somewhere along the line, like, I'd realized, hang on a second, like this is something I need to look at. I'm not working at the moment. I don't really want to go back into event management. I need to take a look at this seriously. So that's when I think I probably started attending events down here in Melbourne, and yeah, really linked arms with Robbie, and Robbie sort of shown me the way and helped me in those first few months, and it's led me to this incredible lifestyle.
Yeah, it's amazing. You know, you said besides everything that you said that I love, you lost the weight, you lost the centimeters. You know how many times then you said I became happy, and I think that's where it the shift happens. Like, it's just like, you just got to put them in, you got to understand it, and you just become happy because everything's in balance. And it's not just one magic product. It's not just the weight loss thing that we all start for, or most people start for. And that's when you kind of realize it's so much more than that. And look, you guys are doing well. You hit a 6-figure income. You're about to scoot off around Australia. But here's the thing, it wasn't that when you started. It was just about getting your products paid for. Yep. And then clearly it was just that little bit more. And you're like, okay, well, I can pay a bit more off the debt. I can pay a bit more off the debt.
Yeah.
What else is possible? So you got yourself out of debt. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So, yeah, as I said, I was just chipping away at my debt, you know, really helping others on the program as well. So, like, that was my main priority now, you know, like, I had shared this with other people. So it was my priority to give them the best experience that I could, as I had had. So, you know, that was starting to become an amazing passion of mine now. Like, I shifted from helping someone create a wedding to people creating, you know, their ideal healthy lifestyle. So yeah, and so it was chipping away at my debt. And, you know, first of all it was the credit card, and then it was the car, and then I saved up enough money to move out and, you know, move into a home of our own. And I think within about 2 years, maybe even a year and a half, we announced that we were debt free. So you can imagine how much stress that had taken out of our family home, and how much, again, how much happier we were knowing that we didn't owe money to the bank. We didn't owe money to our parents. That's the worst one, is owing money to your own parents. Didn't own a credit card. It was just such an amazing feeling, not having that sitting on your shoulders. And then for it to start building in your bank account and going, wow, you know, finally we just feel financially stress-free.
It's a good feeling, isn't it? And, you know, something that you probably wouldn't have even thought possible when you started, that it would have such a profound impact on your lifestyle and your family and your relationships, you know, between you and Paulie and you and the girls and that kind of thing. So yeah, it's just amazing. It's amazing what can come from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, looking back now, I can't believe it. Like, yeah, as you said, I would never have known that this was possible. And yeah, it's mind-blowing. So grateful.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, still like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Saying it once isn't enough.
Yeah.
I know. I still am like, why don't they teach us this in schools?
Yeah.
Like, it's an amazing, like, people need an extra income these days. I know that there's so many people who have extra jobs, especially now being a mum. There's like this secret mums club, and there's all these Facebook mum groups.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how many of them are like, oh, I need to buy this, or but like, what's the cheapest, or what's on sale? And you know, affordability is a big thing, especially when one income can be cut out of the equation. You know, when kids come along.
Yeah.
So we've been on lots of trips together.
Yes.
Disneyland and Arizona, and there's probably someone
Did you go to
Hawaii.
Uluru? Did you go?
I didn't do it for Uluru. Were you in Hawaii?
No, I didn't go to Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
Arizona
so
was the
many
best
trips.
though. Arizona was amazing.
That was awesome. I know. I can't believe I went there like 28 weeks pregnant.
Yes, you did. Crazy woman.
Technically, Ivy's been to the States twice.
Yeah.
I went twice. I went to Vegas. I went to Arizona. So it's crazy. But look, it's done a lot for your family. It's done a lot for your lifestyle. There's been lots of trips, amazing bonuses. You know, we get paid every Tuesday without fail.
Yes.
Or Monday, Tuesday, depending what bank you're with.
Yes.
What's been the highlight for you in all of this?
Yeah. Can I just say before we go to that question, I did leave out a massive, I guess, challenge. Well, it wasn't a challenge, but my husband was made redundant in 2016. So that job that we actually packed up our lives for it to come to Melbourne, he actually got made redundant in 2016. So imagine if I didn't pursue this, and imagine if I didn't, you know, put my heart and soul and just immerse myself in absolutely everything that I needed to know. Because even though that was a shock, I'm just so grateful and so blessed that we have this, because we wouldn't be in this position that we are now today. I actually don't know where we would be. So yeah, I just want to chuck that one in there to say that you've got to have something.
And
you've got to have a backup.
That question because you told me a little bit about some of your challenges, but the fact that Paul, like, you guys picked up and moved your life to Melbourne for this job, and then he was made redundant. Like,
yeah,
was were using the program at that point in time?
Yes. Yeah.
How far in were you?
Yeah. So we had got to the point where we had become debt free. So, you know, I'm so thankful and so glad that I, you know, didn't listen to what was going on around me and really just went for it. Because if I didn't, then yeah, we wouldn't be where we are today. And I don't like to think we would both be in work. We would probably both be back in full-time work, and back to square one of, you know, not having that family time, not seeing the kids, and certainly not going on a trip around Australia. So, and now we're a full-time family. We're 4 of us, we're home together as a full-time family. So I really wanted to talk about that because it's so important. And I think every family should, like you said before, have some sort of backup or some sort of an additional income for those types of situations, because you never know what's around the corner.
You said that I'm just going to, you said, you know, I'm so glad that I didn't listen to the noise and everything else that was going on. What was that?
I think sometimes when you're doing something outside of the normal, sometimes people do try and bring you down, or, you know, tell you that it's a scam, or tell you that it's this and that and the other. And, you know, I could have stopped at any of those points in time, because sometimes they were people that were close to me. And I'm just glad that I didn't listen, and I listened to my intuition, and I saw what this company was about and their values and their integrity. And I fell in love with everything about the company, and it just completely aligned with me. And I'm just so glad I went for it and didn't listen to what was going on around me.
I wanted to ask that because I think a lot of people, and I can see there's a heap of people who keep jumping on, and I think the biggest thing that takes people out of this is what someone has got to say to them. And often that opinion is from someone who isn't living their ideal life. doesn't know a lot about it, and they're not bad. They just don't know what they don't know. And
Yeah.
I guess I kind of came from that space when I was questioning it at the start, because I didn't want a bar of it myself.
Yeah.
But very open to it. But good on you for like sticking to your guns, because you're right. You guys would definitely not be about to leave, you know, to travel the country and just experience so much with the girls. You'd both be in work. And, you know, I think the same thing. What if I hadn't found it? Like, Ivy's 3.5 months now.
Yeah.
You know, if I was only taking 6 months of leave, 2.5 months, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Back full-time work. She hasn't stayed with anyone yet. I can't even imagine putting her in daycare at 6 months, and that's just me.
Yeah.
No,
absolutely.
But really glad that I've got that choice.
Yeah, like looking back now, when I was doing events, you know, I would be missing out on Mother's Days. I'd be missing out on Christmases and Easters and birthdays, because in events, they're the most busiest times of the year, because you're organizing events for these particular events. So, you know, there was years where I would you know, be running out the door on Mother's Day and saying goodbye to my kids and crying on the way to work, because I couldn't stay in bed and have my kids around me and have my pancakes and cup of tea in bed. I couldn't do that because I had to get up and go to work. So yeah, so again, just really grateful and thankful that I didn't listen and just stayed on my track and kept going, and yeah, kept helping other people change their life as well.
I'm sure you've had an amazing few Mother's Days. I saw those beautiful flowers you got. I got the same ones. I saw you posted them.
Yeah, they were beautiful.
And it was a little while later, because they take a while to open up. And mine were the same.
The lilies. Yeah, no, they're gorgeous, and they lasted for so long too. No, they were beautiful.
I know, right? Yeah. So, okay, so you've had an amazing journey. What's been the highlight so far, if you can even pick one?
Yeah, I was thinking about this before. Look, I think it's the friendships, it's the relationships that you, the people that you meet along the way, and the friendships that you build along the way. That has been, hands down a highlight. Lifelong friends, like Nikki Gerbs, for instance, you know, didn't know her before I started, and now she's like my sister. She's my best friend. She's my sister. And it's the friendships that you make along the way. So that's definitely a highlight. Obviously, all your trips that you receive, you just get treated like an absolute rock star. But I think definitely the relationships that you build along the way.
Isn't it? It's like, take the product away, take the company away, but the people are just amazing, and the growth that goes along with it, because you can't be successful if you don't grow yourself. So everyone you end up hanging around with are just generally awesome people. So I love that aspect to it. So it's just great. And the generosity, like, yes, it's almost like I take it for granted now. Like, well, no, I don't, and I'm very grateful for it. But, you know, down at my gym, they're like, you know, visit the gym 10 times this month and go in the draw to win a trip to Europe. It's like, but we get the opportunity to win trips all the time. Yeah. And that's not something that normal life, well, previous to being aware of network marketing and Isogenics company in particular.
Yeah.
It wasn't even in my sphere of thinking. It wasn't. Like, you know, what would you get after a year? You might get a little bit of a raise. Well, for me, I might get a few $1,000 raise in my corporate job. I may get like a $100 gift card at Christmas or something. Yeah. But nothing like what we get here. It's just
it's on another level, isn't it?
Amazing.
Absolutely.
It is. It really is
crazy. So, and I think that's the company are amazing, and they give back to their people, and that's something that is very rare, I feel.
Oh, totally. Yeah, completely rare. It's on another level. So you guys are set for a trip of a lifetime. It's down to 26, 27 days, and you're setting off. And I know for a lot of, that's like the big Australian dream, right? A lot of people are like, oh, when I retire, I'm going to do this. But, you know, you guys, young family, the 2 girls, you're taking off indefinitely to, I saw that big sign there.
Yeah.
Like, I knew, you know, there's going to be challenges
happening.
that come with that and homeschooling. But, you know, that's very much seems like a pipe dream to so many families. Like, oh, if only we could do that.
Yeah.
What you guys have made it possible. What's on the cards?
Yeah. So this has definitely been something that's in the planning for about 12 months. I think I've been banging on it for that long now, but you know, it's huge, packing up your life and into a caravan and traveling indefinitely. You know, we love camping, we love the outdoors, and prior to starting you know, my online health business, camping in a tent was all we could do. But now we're like completely glamping. We've got, you know, a beautiful caravan with a toilet and a shower and our own beds and a kitchen and, you know, a brand new car and all of that. And that wouldn't be possible without all of this. So yeah, we set off on the 1st of July, and yeah, we plan about, you know, 12 to 18 months, but you know, we have no time limit. So we could come back in 6 months if we, you know, can't live with each other in a caravan, or we could go for as long as we want. So we really don't have a time frame. Heading straight up to the top of Queensland to chase the sun, and yeah, just give our kids, you know, a lifetime experience, learning on the road, and just having that really quality family bonding time. And I just can't wait, and I'm just so excited to meet more people as well on the road and help more people with their health as well. That's my priority whilst I'm traveling. Obviously my children, and you know, giving them an experience, but you know, I just want to meet more people and help more people, because that's what lights me up. And yeah, so I'm just really excited.
You're going to meet so many people who are inspired because you're living and doing it. And they're going to be like, well, how? And,
Yeah.
you know, that's even more of a conversation there. And there's nothing more that I love than, you know, being the example, showing people what's possible health-wise, showing people what's possible lifestyle-wise. And it's like, yeah, but you can too. And I guess for me,
Yeah.
you know, even starting my other businesses, trying other things before I'd found this, it was always about me. And
Yeah.
with this, it's like, no, but you can too. It's
Yeah.
like, really? I'm like, yeah, we
Yeah.
all can. And you know, it's not typical what you're doing. You've worked hard and you've put the hard yards in and you committed. I think that's a big word.
Yes.
Rather than dip your toe in, a lot of people will hear the naysayers that we spoke about and that kind of thing, and can get taken off track. But I'm so excited for you guys. Are the girls pumped?
Yeah, so pumped. They're like, Mom, how long? And I've printed them out a calendar, so they get to tick off each day as we go. So yeah, no, they're super excited.
So good. Well, you've made such an impact in your family, and I know that you're making a lot of changes for other people around you. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people here in Melbourne who are going to miss you when you're gone.
Aww.
And I don't even know if you'll be back. Like, let's be honest. You know, you kind of came down here for a job and you're scooting off and the sun's up north.
Yes,
so
yes.
You're going to have such an amazing trip. So, all right, I'm going to leave you with one last question, because I know that personal development books and learning has been a big part of this. So for someone who's quite new, what's one book that you would recommend to help someone open their mind, look at what's possible? What's been something, your favorite book that's helped you along the way?
Yeah, I think definitely in the beginning it was the 4 Agreements. I did struggle a lot with belief and negativity, I suppose. So that really does address those things. And you know, I think I read that quite a few times, and yeah, that probably helped with me just to stay on track and pour a bit of belief into myself, to know that, you know, I can do this. And yeah, so if you are just starting out and you're having those little moments, I would definitely read the 4 Agreements.
That's so good. I've actually got 3 copies of that book.
Yeah.
2 full copies and one mini one. So that's a really awesome one. Thank you so much. Yeah.
I think
I'm super excited.
Yeah.
Go.
Oh, I was just going to say, and I think if you are sort of starting out in this industry, Eric Worre is always someone to definitely follow. So his book, now I've had a mind blank. Come on, D. What?
GoPro.
Yeah, GoPro. And that's who we went and saw in Arizona, and he was phenomenal. How good was he?
Do you remember we hold him up in the on entrance of the
in the foyer
of the hotel? We're like, wait.
He's trying to do this like out of the foyer with his hat down, but we caught him. But yeah, no, definitely Eric Worre GoPro is a great book as well. So yeah, those two are definitely my top two.
I love that. They're the two that I give my new people straight away. I'm like, read these two.
Yeah. Awesome.
Oh, thanks so much, Sarah. I'm grateful that you've just made the time to be on my couch tonight. And thank you also to everyone who jumped on and has been watching. 10th episode. You get to be my anniversary episode. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much
all
for
the
having
best.
me.
Have the best time as you yes, no worries. It's been an absolute honor. So thanks so much, Sarah, and have an amazing week.
Thanks, darling. I'll talk to you soon.
See ya. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.